Mr. Rio here, and I had a request to cover a couple skills that people may need for current assignments in computer literacy. So I'm going to start here by opening up this folder here. I have several of the documents in here that you're doing for the Word Packet 1, which has a total of 6 documents. One of them is Appleton. So I'm opening up Appleton here just to show you two things that you may or may not know. It may or may not be in another tutorial of mine, and I may not have mentioned them in class. The first one I'm going to do is bullets, which is quite simple because this has 3 lines here that we want to have bulleted. So bullets are actually quite easy. You type your text for each bulleted item and make sure you hit return after each one. Now I'm going to show you something else that you may not have seen before. This button up here, it looks like a backward P for paragraph. That's the show hide button. And when you click on it, it shows you a lot of hidden symbols. And they usually are things like returns or tabs or stuff like that. So I can see here my 3 lines here. I hit return after each. That's what that little blue symbol is there. I can see where I hit return at the end of paragraphs and where I hit return to make spaces in between. So I want to make sure I have a return after each line. Why is that important? That's because when you go to make bullets, the way Word is going to know what to bullet is if there's a return. So if I highlight these 3 lines here and there's a return, it knows to put 3 bullets. If there was no return, it would probably treat it as one bulleted item. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click up here, and there's a button here. It literally puts it straight into bullets. And then another way you can do this is go to Format menu and go to Bullets and Numbering. Now I'm going to turn it off for a moment, so I'm back to no bullets. And if I go back to Format here, Bullets and Numbering, which is another way you do it. Now when you click the button up there, it only gives you that option, the standard black round bullets. If you go to Bullets and Numbering, it gives you a bunch of options here, checks and circles with no not filled and squares. It also gives you numbering options. If you want 1, 2, 3 or A, B, C and things like that. But we're just going to focus on the basic default. We'll click on the first one here, which is the same as clicking the button up above. And we'll hit OK, and it bullets that for this assignment. Now another thing I may not have covered is called headers and footers. If you see some really small text at the very top or at the very bottom, it's in a header or footer. How do you get there? Well, one way, a shortcut, is just go up to the very top near the border and double click, and you'll see this appear. It says header. You are now in the header view. If you scroll to the bottom, you'll see footer down here. Header and footer is where you can type text that technically is in its own section of the document. And I'm just going to put my name up here. And if you hit tab, it works a little different. You hit tab once, it goes to the middle. You hit tab twice, it goes to the far right. And that we're going to put the date in there. Now, one way to do the date is go to Insert menu and go to Date and Time down here. And it gives you various formats of today's date. I'll just do the first one and hit OK. And that gave me the date. Now, from here on in, anytime you do a header or footer, always make it no, I'm going to click here to go. There's a header and footer option up here. I'm going to click here. I'm going to make it 9-point and italic. That's very typical for a header or footer. And then to get out of the header, I just come back down here. Notice this is all grayed out. I'm going to double click there, and now that's in the header. Now this is a 1-page document, so some of you are thinking, why not just type it up there small? First, it allows you to go closer to the, inside the margins, because headers are set up a little different as our footers. The other reason is if you're doing a multi-page document, 2, 3, 4, 50, anything you put in a header or a footer will be on every single page. So you have your name on every single page, the date on every single page. And there is a way to insert page numbering where it would put the page number on every page, but it will change the number. So it would be page 1, page 2, and so on, which I'm not going to cover right now. So that's a little intro at header and footer. You can also go up here to View menu and select header and footer, and that'll bring you into that view. And then you can do the same thing down here if you want to put any text here, type your name, hit tab, take you to the middle, and hit tab again and take you to the end down here. So some documents will have a header, some will have a footer. Obviously many have neither, but that's how you do a header and a footer basically, and how you do bullets. Okay, I'm just going to hit save just to double click that I saved there. Now if you notice the keyboard shortcuts here, save is a Command S and print is a Command P and so on. On a Mac, the Command key is the one next to the space bar. It's got that same little symbol on it. There's one on both sides of the space bar. So it's very similar to Windows, except on a Windows computer you don't use Command, you use Control. So you do Control S on a Windows computer, Command S on a Mac to do a keyboard shortcut. Okay, now I'm going to save this and quit Word. And here is my folder. Now I only got 3 of the files in here. You'll have 6 when you're done. You'll have the 5 regular ones and the tabs one. If you're an online only class, the tabs one, you have to watch that second tutorial. And I'll show you how to do that there. Actually, while we're discussing that, I'm going to open that real quick here. And what this lesson was about was you put tabs lesson up on top, or tabs assignment. If you want to label these 2 sections, I just put practice tabs alignment. If you don't label it, I'm not too worried about that. Now what I didn't do in this one, let me try to find another one I did. I got a better one here. Here's one I actually did from 4th block. Okay, I actually named these, but I went through how to set up tabs, custom tabs, and we did the left tab, which you can tell it lines everything up on the left. We did a center tab where it lined everything up on the center, and we made a right tab that lines everything up on the right. You can see those up here. Now when you're down this section here, we had cleared the tabs in between and we created a new decimal tab. You'll see it up here. And we labeled it decimal tab, and we put in this purposely strange numbers so you can see there. One thing they only have in common is they all got a decimal point somewhere. So a decimal tab is designed to line it all up by the decimal point. So those are the 4 tabs we covered. If you're in the online only version or missed the in-class lesson, make sure you watch the tutorial. And I'm not real picky what words you did. Like, we did different ones in each class. This particular class, we did foods for the first one, we did states for the middle one, we did either sports teams or music groups for this one, and obviously this one we did some rather odd numbers to demonstrate how they line up with the decimals. So we purposely did a unique mix of numbers that had decimals in them. So that's the tabs assignment, which you should have. I'm actually going to save this one into that folder and use this one instead for what I'm about to do here. I'm just going to name it tabs, and I'm on my desktop, and the folder I'm using is called Word 4. Now if you name it the same thing and you put it on top of another one, and you know for sure the one you're saving on top of it is the one that you want, you just hit replace. Okay, so now I'm going to close this. Now we're back to here. I'm going to pretend I got all 6 here. In reality, I only got 3. And I had a question: how do you submit these 6 documents into Google Classroom? So I'm going to open up a Google Classroom where I was a student. I actually took this class last spring. I let the instructor know if they get some assignments from me 6 months late that aren't even on topic, it's because I'm using it to demonstrate how to do things from a student point of view. So you have an assignment open, and you have where you can submit. Ignore that resubmit because I've already submitted things here. I'm just going to click the Add or Create, and I'm going to click File. Now I've already put my files in a folder on my desktop. If your files are in OneDrive, unless you can figure out another way, you're going to have to get them out of OneDrive, download them, save them out of there, make a copy, whatever works. Get them onto your desktop, and then you'll have them to do what I'm about to do next. If you might figure out another shortcut. If you want to Google it or look around, there might be other shortcuts to do that. I'm going to click Upload here. Now I can either click here and browse to my folder. I'll do that this time just to show you. And I'm going to go to Word. I named it 4th. And I'll just go to the first one, Appleton. Okay? And I'll click for Open. Now that is literally uploading Appleton to the assignment. Now remember, we have 6 of these. Now ignore this one I got up here. I'm actually going to get rid of that. I don't really need it. So there's one. Now I'm going to add another one. And I'm going to go to File. And I'll go to Upload. Now for this one, I'll just drag it on. I can see it right here. I did Appleton. I'm going to drag tabs out here. And it starts the upload right away. So there's a second one that's up there. And then while I'm here, whoops, I got to click the button there again. Go to File, go to Upload, and again I can either browse through my folders or I can go here and drag it there. Okay, so that's 3. Now in reality you'll have 6, so I would keep going for 3 more if I was doing that. Mine says resubmit because I've already used this before. Yours will probably just say submit. But either way, I click that, and as always you got to click the turn in. And I'm waiting, and it looks like that worked. Now yours might be a tiny bit different because I'm on an assignment I've already submitted before, so it might be a little bit different, but it should be more or less the same. But yes, you can submit multiple files for any project. For that one where we did the screenshot, I had students submit their screenshot separate from the Google Doc. I accepted it. You know, they did the screenshot. I would have preferred it insert into the Google Doc, but it worked. So hopefully this was helpful to you today as you finish up your work and get things caught up. Don't forget to do a good job, study for the test. Get all your Word stuff in. Hopefully you're getting comfortable with all this that we're using online. And if you got any questions, just shoot me an email. So have a great day.